Good morning, sirs. Morning.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Anup Garg.
Yes.
He did your B in Industrial Engineering and Management
Yes.
from Karnataka in 2016.
Yes.
So what you have been doing after that?
Sir, my primary objective has been for preparing for the civil services examination. And apart from that, sir, I recently completed my post-graduation in the field of public administration, MA in the field of public administration. And also, sir, recently I was also involved with the Rourkela administration as a volunteer in the vaccination drive.
Okay. Corona.
Yes, sir.
You did your MA Public Administration from where?
Sir, Indira Gandhi National Open University.
So, open school.
Yes.
This is your fifth attempt and second interview.
Sir, this is my fourth interview.
Fourth interview?
Yes.
It's not nice. Huh? Only 18 is right? Good. And you are from Sundargarh.
Yes.
What is Sundargarh famous for?
Sir, firstly, it is rich in minerals. We see that 1/3 of the Odisha's minerals lie in 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬 district and Sundargarh district. Secondly, sir, it's a Schedule 5 district. So more than 50% of the population is tribal. So there's a lot of diversity also, sir. Thirdly, sir, the forest cover of the district is very high. It's more than 50%.
Okay. Sundargarh is in limelight these days. Yeah. And also Rourkela. Can you tell me why?
Sir, there can be multiple reasons.
I'm referring to sports.
Yes, sir. Sir, 2023 Hockey World Cup will be organized in the city of Rourkela as well as Bhubaneswar, sir.
Why the tribal boys and girls are doing so well in hockey from Sundargarh?
Sir, firstly, there is a historical reason, sir. We see that hockey as a sport was introduced by the missionaries in the past, which actually led to a development of culture of hockey in the district, sir. Secondly, sir, there is a lot of infrastructure also. Rourkela Steel Plant, sir, has spearheaded the hockey in the district, and it is managing two integrated stadiums, sir, wherein students are provided with adequate support in terms of diet, practice, coaching. Thirdly, sir, the district has given a lot of international players to the Indian hockey team. So because of that, sir, now after they have retired, they have taken up mentoring, coaching the students, and so that acts as a role model for others to do well also, sir.
Your subject is public administration, and you say that you have done a post-graduation in public administration. Do you know what is inverted pyramid?
Sir,
You understand pyramid?
yes,
in
sir.
public administration?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is it?
Sir, Abraham Maslow has given his theory of motivation, needs motivation theory, wherein he has given a pyramid saying that the individual needs are sequential in nature, ranging from a very basic need of physiological and going up to the self-actualization level, sir. So,
And also it indicates a hierarchy. Man on the
yes,
top
yes.
and people are at the bottom. So in that context, what is inverted pyramid? People in the front, top, and
Yes.
leader is at the back. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir.
The theory of delegation in public administration. You will also be tomorrow collector, you delegate certain powers to your additional collector. So what are the principles that will guide the delegation?
Sir, firstly would be the role and goal clarity. Secondly would be that, sir, accountability. And thirdly would be, sir, clear communication. I can take the example of my district, sir, where I recently worked as a volunteer. Ultimately, sir, the district magistrate was responsible for the vaccination drive, but in the Rourkela administration, the ADM was spearheading. So there was regular meetings held every weekend. There was a group on WhatsApp wherein regular updates were taken. And apart from that, sir, if the DM thought that he could intervene anywhere, then strategically he would intervene. So these are some of the areas where I saw that principle of delegation was there.
So that means accountability remains with the person who is delegating. Okay.
Yes.
And the person to whom it is delegated can't go beyond the powers which have been delegated.
Yes.
Delegated to. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, the present government in Odisha has been giving a lot of freebies, 1 rupee rice or meal at a very cheap price. And so many. And similarly, there is another government in Delhi or Punjab, they are also distributing freebies. I would like to know, as a future administrator, what is your view about the freebies? Is it a good thing or bad thing?
Sir, can I take few seconds?
Yeah.
Sir, in my view, sir, freebies is a very subjective term, sir. It depends upon what services people are being offered. There are actually three kinds of goods in public administration, sir. The public good, the merit good, as well as the private good. Public and merit good, sir, leads to wider social impact. And the focus is not only on individual. For instance, here when we talk about, say, sir, food security, the midday meal scheme, then we see that it has had a larger impact, sir, not only on the individual, but the society as a whole. But then on the other hand, sir, if we see that on some governments are maybe distributing, say, sarees, so that may only impact an individual per se, but may not have a wider social impact. Apart from that, sir, also we have to take into consideration the fiscal or the finance of the freebies. If there is a clear roadmap wherein we see that in the short term, if the freebies, in the long term, the freebies money can be mobilized, and if it is sustainable, then it's actually good in the long run, sir. So it depends upon the context that we see, sir.
Recently, something was introduced in Puri for the first time in the country. And what it is?
Sir, 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐨 Yojana, wherein free quality pipe drinking water. Puri became the first city in the country wherein people were provided with qualitative drinking water via their pipes.
You can drink the tap.
Yes.
This Jagannath culture, what it is, and how it affects Odiyas and Odisha.
Sir, can I take few seconds?
Yeah.
Sir, Lord Jagannath by itself, the Jagannath word means Lord of the universe. So it stands for, Lord Jagannath stands for the Lord of each and everybody. We see that Odisha has been at the crossroad of different faiths, ranging from Jainism, Buddhism, even Shaivism and Shaktism. And all of them consider Lord Jagannath to be their idol, sir. So in that aspect, sir, it is seen that it is acting as a unity for the people. There is a lot of bonding and there is a lot of reverence to Lord Jagannath. We see that the festivals are organized with a lot of bhakti, and also, sir, it promotes a lot of tourism, not only from Odisha, sir, but even outside. We see that from West Bengal especially, tourists come to Odisha because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had spent a lot of time there. It is a part of Char Dham. So because of that, sir, we see that there is also a lot of following of Lord Jagannath, and that has actually been the thread that has kept the entire state together, sir.
Sir. Yes, Mr. Anup. You have, as you said, you have appeared in the interview 3 times.
Yes.
What do you think went wrong?
Sir, I would like to divide my previous experiences into 2. First would be the first 2 attempts. There, sir, I thought that I was trying to prepare everything but me. Then I realized that the interview is about me, my experiences, my learnings. So that I wasn't focusing on, sir. Rather, I was too much focusing on notes making and that, etc., sir. And in the previous attempt, sir, I thought that my preparation was mostly focused on solo, wherein that strategy had given me result in the prelims and mains. So here also I thought that I would prepare myself. But then I realized that in the personality test, it is better to speak to people, learn from their experiences, exchange our opinions. And that is why, sir, I have taken a conscious attempt to speak to the ground level functionaries such as BDO, additional BDO, have more group discussions with people. And sir, thirdly, another issue can be, sir, that I was a little anxious in the previous attempt. So I think that also would have played a role, sir.
Well, but you see, whether it is written or whether it is oral interview personality test, practice makes one perfect. Even for prelims, etc., they say take as many tests as you can in order to prepare yourself. So you never, I mean, just as you are coming here today, did you not try this at papers?
Sir, this I had tried, but that, sir, I was not focused on my own aspects. For instance, my education and my hobbies, interest, etc. Rather, my focus was much more on the current affairs aspects, sir. So that is equally important. But then, sir, ultimately, my personality is being checked here. So that part I wasn't focusing, sir. That I thought.
Because ultimately, if you read any monthly magazine or anything on civil service, even if you read the advertisements, they will say DAF, that is all. The interview is about 60, 70, 80% of the time. So DAF, you are not really concentrating, is it?
Sir, I would call that as shallow preparation. As in, I was going through my DAF, but it wasn't very deep. As in, it was very on the surface. But rather, sir, from my past experiences, I have realized that it's better to understand and go into a deeper analysis of DAF. And not only that, but also understand the ground reality. For instance, what is happening in my district. And I needed to go there, see from my eyes and from my experiences. And that.
As far as your column on hobbies, etc., is concerned, was there any guidance taken in filling up this column?
Yes, sir, it was.
What was the guidance given?
Sir, I consulted my seniors and some of my friends who have already qualified. So, what I had to write, that I had already made up my mind, sir. But how to portray that? For instance, I played hockey. So, a guidance that I got was that focus on what was your position in the hockey. Rather than writing only hockey, write vice captain of hockey team, because that was your position.
Can you write it here?
Yes, sir. Under the sports column.
Anyway, what is this you mean by taking initiatives?
Sir, my orientation has been that wherever possible, if I see that there is an opportunity where I can take certain initiative to, say, solve a problem or drive small scale changes at the grassroots level, then I always try doing that, sir. And as I've done recently as a volunteer in the vaccination drive, or we have started a Savari group. Sir, Savari is a ride-sharing concept wherein multiple people can come together in a platform. We have established groups on WhatsApp. People can come together. For example, sir, the nearest airport from Rourkela is 120 kilometers, 𝐻𝐴. So we saw that cab drivers used to charge 3,000 rupees, sir, just for one person, whereas the flight ticket charge only was about 2,800. So we created a platform wherein multiple people, if they can post their schedule, then they can book the cab together, sir. So per person amount now comes to about 700, 800. And the wider impact of that was, sir, that now not only Rourkela, 𝐻𝐴, but we have seen people going for Rourkela, Ranchi, Bokaro, Bhubaneswar, etc., sir.
No, you don't have this, other options apart from taxi there?
Sir,
People have mobiles on which they can just take a ride. One of our famous film actor keeps on advertising that. What is that?
sir, sorry, sir, but are you talking about Ola, Uber, and all the?
Ola Uber is different. This is another option where mobile taxi.
Okay, sir.
No bike taxi.
Yes, sir.
Now electric cycle taxi. You don't have that option. Or you could have started an initiative.
Sir, now.
Pulling off, people, bringing people together to sit in the same taxi. Why not encourage the youth to sit on the bicycle or electric bicycle or motorcycle and drop them and make a living? It will be much cheaper.
Sir, first, thank you for the suggestion, sir. Actually, this is a very enlightening thing. But sir, there is about 100 kilometers, sir. So sometimes it's not feasible to travel that through a bike. And sir,
motorcycle can't travel 200. I don't.
Sir, because they have luggage, sir. They're going to the airport. So because of that, at times.
You have mentioned watching movies based on real life stories.
Yes.
What is one word for this?
Sir, biopic.
Why not biopic? Watching biopic?
Sir, watching movie based on real life story, one aspect is biopic, sir. Sometimes certain incidents also, like for example, how McDonald's came into being, or certain other incidents related movies also are there, sir. So that is why.
Crime Petrol.
So that is one of the things, sir. It's inspired. So not really, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, you have studied industrial engineering. Have you heard about labor code? Labor code.
Yes, sir, I have.
What is labor code?
So the government has come out with a labor code wherein it is divided into 4 different categories. One is labor code on wages. Second is social security. Third is occupational safety. And 4th is industrial relations, sir. And we see that some of the initiatives that the government has taken through this is firstly recognizing the gig workers. Government will come out with a social security for them. On the wages front, there will be a national floor minimum wage, and that will be again divided into different geographies. For industrial relation, we see that a tribunal would be set up. Also, more flexibility will be given to the industries. Now, 300 industries can employ up to 300 workers and have more flexibility as far as the policies are concerned.
It was supposed to come into force on 1st April 2022. Has it come into force?
No, sir. As of now, it has not come into force. As of now, it has not come into force, sir.
Why is it stuck?
Sir, I think it is because of the COVID pandemic. We have seen that already there's large scale disruption that we have seen.
That is a very broad view of the problem. Okay. What is the specific issue on which it is hanging fire?
Sir, I'm not very sure. I will go back and check it, sir.
What are the problems with this labor code? Industrial agitations have been, you can say they are motivated, like in farm laws. Still, are there any issues with this labor code?
So there are certain issues. Firstly, sir, is the increase in the flexibility for the industrialist. We see that earlier, the industrialist only up to 300 workers they could fire if they wanted, but now the limit has been increased to 300. So that gives them more flexibility, and the laborers may think that there's a lot of insecurity has crept in. And secondly, sir, the threshold for organizing the trade union has also increased. It needs support of more than 50% of the laborers now. So that is another area, sir. And thirdly, sir, the code talks about the gig workers. But then the issue is that, sir, there is no rights given to the gig workers, rather only benefits have been given. For instance, the government can come out with these schemes, but there is no right which they can ask the government, and they can make the government accountable. So that is another issue where debate is going on, sir.
Chief Justice of India said something recently about gig workers. Are you there?
So can I think for a second? Sir, I'm not able to recall. I will definitely.
What are the issues with gig workers? Is there any law for gig workers?
So there is no separate.
Their working conditions, welfare.
Sir, not the entire gig workers, but we have seen that the government recently amended the Motor Vehicle Amendment Act, where they have provided benefits to the cab drivers who say were driving in Ola, Uber, providing them health insurance and ensuring that they have given refresher training every year. But overall, sir, there is no law, and the issues that they face, sir. Firstly, sir, I think most of these platform workers, the entire gig work is controlled by algorithm, so they do not have much control over the how they are being assigned the different deliveries. Secondly, sir, many of the times they need assets to in the gig workers. For example, they need motorbike, they need mobile phones. So these loans are facilitated by the companies. So at times they become indebted to the company, sir. And thirdly, sir, there is lack of social security also. We see that many of the times the work done is more, but they are underpaid. So that is another issue. Fourth is the bargaining power, sir. We see that there is no representation of gig workers, say, in the board of the companies. There is no grievance redressal mechanism. So these are the emerging challenges that we see.
What about hire and fire? That is the greatest problem of gig workers.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah, that is also one of the issues, sir, that we are
That is the
facing.
main problem.
Yes.
Anyway, which is that area in which a large number of gig workers now today are joining, are employed, working.
Sir, food sector, we see delivery as delivery boys, and automobile transport sector, we see a lot of drivers now joining the gig worker. Apart from that, sir, edtech is another sector, education, where we see many teachers coming up and providing benefits to the students.
What about information technology? Gaming.
Yes, sir. Gaming is also another area. And sir, all if you see the delivery boys, or for example the cab, even those are related to the IT sectors, sir. So they are in a way they are also linked to the companies there. Thank you, sir.
Anup, sir, I asked you about movies based on real. Which movies you have watched recently? Name many 2 or 3 movies.
Sir, one is Kashmiri Files.
Kashmiri Files?
Yes.
Kashmiri?
Kashmir Files. Sorry, sir. Pardon me, sir. Second, 1232 kilometers. It had come regarding the migrants and their journey back home during the COVID lockdown. Thirdly, sir, I also watched Invictus. It is a story, a biopic on Nelson Mandela, sir. So,
Did you watch Dangal?
sorry, sir.
Dangal.
Dhadkan.
Dangal.
Yes, sir. I have watched. Sorry, sir. I couldn't.
Also reading.
Yes.
Okay. You led school brass band also. Which instruments are used?
Sir, trumpet, euphonium, baritone, tuba, bugle, and certain percussion instruments also, sir, like side drums and the bass drum.
With the now 5G is coming to our country. 5G. Privacy is, people consider privacy to be a very vulnerable area. Right? Even there are complaints against Facebook giving your data to for digital marketing and all. What should be done to contain remedy this situation?
Sir, can I take few seconds?
Sure.
Sir, firstly, we may adopt the data protection law that is seen in the parliament. Secondly, sir, we need to make our people more aware about how they behave in the IT, social media, or how they can ensure that they can guard against their data. Thirdly, sir, our laws can become more transparent in the sense that we see that many of the times unconsciously we give permissions to the different apps or websites to take our data. We may not, and because that may be written in a very subtle way, so we may not. So like what the European Union has done, that it has ensured that there is explicit consent that is taken. Even the Apple has gone in that direction, so we can do that.
People should be made aware about literacy, computer literacy, how to use the apps. That should be said.
Yes.
And you're just an engineer and manager. What are the three famous laws of robotics? Have you heard?
So yes, sir, I have heard.
You can't recall, right?
Yes, I'm not able to recall.
And what is the future of robotics in our country, particularly in industry?
Sir, I think over the years or coming years, we will see the increasing adoption of robotics in the industries. We see that now we have been shifting from industrial revolution 3 to 4 and now we are talking about 5. So robotics will play a very greater role, sir. Apart from that, sir, not only in terms of adoption, but we'll see increase in terms of human resource, in terms of education, more and more courses on robotics will come up. And we have seen many universities taking up that also. And also, sir, when we are talking about integrating in the global value chain, so mass production becomes very important. We talk about semiconductors, chip, fabs, manufacturing. So in that area also, we'll see robotics coming up, sir.
Okay. How will you explain the concept of collegium system of appointment of judges? What is it?
Sir, collegium system was evolved in the 3 judges case in the 1990s. It is a system for appointment of the honorable judges in the higher judiciary, namely Supreme Court and the High Court. In the Supreme Court, sir, along with the Honorable Chief Justice of India, we see there are the other 4 honorable judges who together recommend the names to the government, and government either can adopt them or if they have any clarifications, then they can send it back. But on the second time, if the Supreme Court reiterates it, then it becomes compulsory for the government to appoint.
Last question. What is the synthetic theory of organic evolution? You know the organic evolution?
Sir, I'm not very sure about it, but I will.
You have heard the name of Darwin?
Yes, sir, I have.
What is he known for?
It's a theory of evolution that we see that he's explained how the evolution takes place.
What is the basic thing about Darwin's theory? Survival of the fittest?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. What is your goal in life?
So can I take few seconds?
Sure.
So my goal is always to be a better person than what I was yesterday. And that also, sir, my goal is also to do well in different areas. For instance, professionally, my goal is to perform well, whatever capacity I'm there. As a son, my goal is to ensure that I take care of my parents and learn from them. As friends, my goal is to be a very loyal friend and always be there supporting my friends.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.